So I wanted to do a game review because I don't do as many as I used to. So one game that really captivated my interest and I felt that it deserves a review was Dead Rising 2. Um, Played the first one. First game was way too fucking hard. And this game is much of the same. So this is a Dead Rising 2 review, but it's kind of like a Dead Rising series review. Um, the thing is about this series is that it's a lot of fun. You get to use different objects throughout. Both games take place inside malls, and there's a huge zombie infestation. That's basically it. You're basically just surviving in the mall for 3 days, and you're using various weapons. You get guns and stuff, but you don't really get guns as much, and guns you can't really carry that much ammo. A machine gun only carries like 30 bullets in it, so that's a little bit lame. The other thing about it, this game is like guns are almost worthless. You would think like a bludgeoning weapon would be weaker than a gun, but actually guns are very fucking weak in this game. You have to like pump like 20 bullets into a fucking enemy to make them die. I mean, you wouldn't think that that would be the case. So this game is very unbalanced. Though it's fun, it has a lot of problems. And one of the biggest problems about this game is what I mentioned before. Both of them are very fucking hard, and this one is no different than the first game. Um, I feel like the main missions are easier than the side quests. I skipped like a couple of the side quests because the thing is like they're not mandatory. You don't have to do them, but it adds to your possibility of getting an achievement because if you rescue about like 10 people in this game, you'll get an achievement. And I think there's even one if you get 20 people, but some of them are so fucking hard. Because let me explain to you, there's bosses in this game, and the boss fights feel so unbalanced. Um, there's one boss in this one where you're fighting this children clothing store mascot. He's on skates and he's got like a flamethrower device and he's just so fucking hard. Unless you have the right weapon, all the weapons are all spread out all over the place, all over the mall. So the chances that you know to bring that weapon to that particular fight, because when you see the mission on your watch is where you get all these missions. And by the way, you have to get to the missions at a certain time. Throughout the 3 days in this game that the game lasts, you have to get to that certain objective in a certain amount of time. They will tell you have to get there, say by 10 p.m. And if you don't get there, then then that mission disappears. So it's all time based. And in the first game, there was a massive glitch with one of the main objectives, and that was very disappointing. And it ruined the whole game. And if you fail the main missions, you could still continue the game and play to the ending, but that's really no fun. And plus, it really limits your chances for getting achievements and seeing the full storyline. So pretty much if you fail anything and you didn't and you've saved over it, you might as well go back to the beginning because it's boring if you don't do the main missions. Um, and that's also the problem. A lot of times I feel like I was waiting around in this game. They added a weird thing to the second one where you have to give your daughter a dose of Zombex or something like of that name. It's a medicine, to combat her zombie condition because she was bitten, and you have to give it to her every 24 hours. A lot of times you don't want to stray too far and do other side missions because you're afraid you might miss that time. So that definitely slowed the game down some. But I want to go back to the boss fights. Way too fucking hard. There's also another boss battle in here with a chef. You pretty much no weapon in the game does any damage to him of any significance. He keeps on healing himself. I tried a couple of times and then I fucking gave up. No, actually I tried that one once. There was a couple of others where I just said fuck it and I gave up on it because it was way too fucking hard. And I didn't even want to fucking put up with it anymore. The good thing about this game is a cool feature is that you get to make weapons by combining two weapons into one at any workbench in the game. And don't worry, there's a lot of workbenches. Um, I also like the fact in this game that the save system was a little improved. There's more bathrooms where you could save the game, so that was definitely good. But overall, I just have to say about this game is that it really needs a lot of tweaks if they're gonna come out with a Dead Rising 3, or else, I really don't think I would go for a third game because it's not that good. Overall, I give the game about a 7 out of 10. It's a good, strong rating there, so fanboys don't complain. But there is a lot of improvements that are needed on this game. For example, they need to have a better autosave. Get a fucking autosave. Enough with the bathroom shit. They did improve on one thing. If you complete every main chapter, that you do get to save, but sometimes there's things that are so fucking hard, and it sets you so far back. When you die and you want to go back to your previous checkpoint, your save point. So it's really unpleasant a lot of times in the game, and a lot of times I feel like people are gonna have to take breaks, like turn the system off and play something else, because you're gonna get so frustrated playing this game. And there's some mandatory boss battles in this that just pissed me off, and you'll know when you see them in the game. So overall, it's a decent game, a decent series, but it definitely needs a lot of improvements.